All right, you ready to go?
Yep.
Got your happy pants on?
Yep.
You ready to produce some flaming lolcats and have the people at home just
Flaming what?
flaming lolcats?
What's that?
On the internet.
Okay.
Lol.
Yeah,
cats,
I know lol.
And then set them on fire.
Yeah, but why would you do
Flaming
the
lolcat.
three complete fire, lols, and cats? Just why would you mash those things together?
All right, here we go. This is the story of a man from New Zealand and a woman from England stuck in lockdown together. This is day 8. Hello to you.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm not having to push a dog out of my face. I did warn you.
Yeah, she's
are-
all right.
what-
She's all right.
No, see, I don't like it. You are covered in dogs. One of them is insisting on pushing herself into your face. And I can see how this is going to be a nuisance, an ongoing nuisance throughout
Yeah,
the
well,
show.
she's keeping me warm. I'm not complaining. You're the only one who's complaining, and everything she does, you complain about
I don't like her,
because
no.
you don't like her.
No,
Yeah.
she is a pain in the bum.
No, you just don't like her because she doesn't respect you in any way, shape, or form.
She is constantly trying to suck up to me. I don't like that dog.
No, well, that's why she keeps trying to suck up to you. You've just got an irrational hatred of one of my dogs.
I have an irrational hatred of all of your dogs.
No, you don't. You've got
It's
a
just-
massive soft spot for Doug.
It's just
and
this
you
one.
tolerate Harry. You've just got no time whatsoever for the big one.
Well, she's a pain in the ass. There's no other way to put it.
No, she's not.
Even watching her irritate you is irritating me.
She's not irritating me though. That's the problem. She irritates you just by existing.
Yeah.
So everything that she does, you complain about. You've never got anything nice to say about her. You're such a negative Nancy when it comes to this dog. And she picks up on it, and that's why she's trying to be nice to you all the time. And all you do is smack her in the face and push her away and
I don't
make
smack her in the
fuss in the
face.
dog.
When do I ever smack her in the face? That does not happen.
You push her away all the time.
I don't smack her in the face.
Right,
though.
you don't hit her, but you
Ignore her actively.
Yeah. You will ask the littlest dog to do something, and he might or might not ignore you, and she will do it, and you'll be like, "Oh, go away, not interested." And she does everything you ask, and you've got no tolerance for her whatsoever.
She doesn't do everything I ask. I'm constantly saying go away. She doesn't listen.
Yeah. This is why you shouldn't have children, because you'll just get your dick in a twist about one of them one day.
Hey, I'm probably on the shelf. Let's face it. I'm not going to be producing children anytime soon or, potentially ever. Although, to be fair, during the lockdown, they are saying there's going to be a baby boom in 9 months' time.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair guess.
yeah,
I think there probably will be a baby boom in 9 months' time.
yeah.
Whether or not we're actually past the worst of the virus and what's going on there, well, that's much harder to say.
Yeah, I've said before to you, obviously not on the show, but now's the perfect time to get knocked up because you've got 3 months at home to get over the worst of the morning sickness. If anyone's thinking of having a kid, crack on.
Crack on. People won't be thinking about it. I doubt very much people are actively thinking about it.
You think
But
they
the-
just run out of condoms?
No,
they
well-
can't get a delivery of them.
Maybe they are going to run out of condoms. Although it was interesting to see that the pharmacies are only going to supply you with 1 month's worth of medication for whatever ails you, apart from prophylactics, where they will give you 3 months supply. So yeah, you can get 3 months worth of birth control, but only birth control. You can't get anything else for 3 months.
Oh, that's interesting.
Everything's only for 1 month. That's in the UK anyway.
Yeah, that's easy because that's like a pack of 3 for most people.
What's that?
Birth control for 3 months.
Is a pack of 3.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Are you talking about condoms still?
Yeah.
Are you saying that the average person has sex 3 times over the course of 3 months?
Yeah.
Are we delving into your love life?
No, not at all. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying, just speculating. Sitting over there all smug with a smug look on your face, being like, pretty sure I have more sex than the average person. Yeah, smug ass.
Average person my age, anyway.
Average person your age. He's saying people your age, they just don't have time. They just don't have time. Well, I think
Don't have the energy more, right?
In this scenario, with everyone locked down and locked in together, I think people will find comfort in each other's arms. I think that's likely, and I think babies will result. I think there's a very high likelihood of that.
Yeah, it depends whether they're locked in with someone or not. You were saying yesterday quite a large number of your social circle are locked in lockdown on their own.
Yeah, and I think some of them are really struggling with it. I mean, we're at day 8. Many of them are at day 5, and yeah, they're hitting the wall. They are struggling just being alone that much. It cannot be easy.
No. But, you know, I mean, what I would suggest to people that are struggling is reach out, FaceTime people, WhatsApp video chat people, phone people, that thing that you plug into the wall that nobody ever uses anymore. That's a telephone. You can pick it up and dial numbers and talk to people.
You can tweet us.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
almost certainly won't call you on the phone.
No. If
we've
you
got
don't want to do the whole speaking thing, you just want to,
have a little message.
Yeah.
From some pseudo-celebrities.
Oh, it's the funniest thing we've said.
A couple of nobodies locked in a tiny terraced house in London.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a message from us, you can
well,
tweet us.
You've had some feedback directly from people listening, and I do wish that they would tweet us rather than message you, because then I get to see it and I don't get the edited version.
What do you mean, the edited version? What do you think I'm filtering out?
That everyone's calling you a twat. And saying, God bless that woman for tolerating him.
I'm not filtering that out. No one is saying that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. They're not saying it to my face. Maybe if people did message us on Twitter, that would be what happened. They would be more open with their feelings about me and your levels of tolerance.
It's like what was that? What was that thing with the vampires and the werewolves?
What?
Twilight? Was it Twilight? The books and the films? And when there were people that were Team Werewolf or Team Vampire. Maybe we'll get people will have T-shirts printed of Team G for the girl and Team B for the boy.
Team girl and team boy.
Yeah.
Yes, and people will specifically know that that's about us. They'll know straight
they will.
off the bat.
If there's an @S, what was it?
I can't believe you can't remember the
@SIHWY. Stuck in here with you.
The show's called Stuck in Here with You. It's the first letter of each of those words.
I know, but
in order.
Well, I've written it down. I don't need to remember it. I've got all of these other things to remember.
But you should be able to remember it. And it just spells suey.
Yeah.
Because it's a
what do we
suey
need
show.
to eat today?
What do you mean, what do we need to eat today?
What is going to go past its best before date or use by date today?
We are not on to today. We should be still talking about yesterday.
Yeah, well, whatever. But what needs eating today?
Oh, you're
or
trying to
needed eating yesterday?
I see.
See, these are the things that I have to carry around in my head in the whole basis of keeping us alive, whereas you can remember acronyms of podcasts.
you have it all written down in
I do.
Yeah, you have
Because
it
I've
all
got
written
so
down
much to remember.
in a spreadsheet. You have it all written down.
It's not in a spreadsheet. It's in my kitchen diary.
Yeah, I can't believe you have a kitchen diary. I mean, anyway, I'll stop. No, I'll stop.
Well, I could write those things in my, diary of events and other stuff, but I'd rather not.
My point is, you know the name of the show.
We used to have a calendar. When you first lived here, we had a calendar on the back of the kitchen door when we'd put things on to inform each other of what was going on.
Yeah, it was full of abuse and little pictures of cock and balls.
No, that was the front of the fridge. I used to draw you pictures, didn't I? Some of them were bloody good. I do wonder where they are. Did I keep them? Did I give them to you when you moved
Yeah,
back?
it's such artwork, she says to herself.
Yeah. I remember drawing an arse and thinking, that's pretty good. Considering, it was done on a post-it note with a biro. It did look quite like a bottom. Yeah, anyway, I used to have a calendar, and then I thought, well, I don't need a calendar because there's only me looking at it after you've gone. So I bought a Sarah Ravens, I think it's Sarah Ravens kitchen something or other diary that sits on the worktop instead. And it's really good because it tells you when you need to plant things, and it tells you when things are going to be harvested, and it gives you a recipe each month for what you can make with what's in season that month. I've never heard of this woman. Apparently she's a big thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit rude, but, whatever.
It's not a bit rude. I genuinely, I hadn't heard of her, and I found her diary reduced in Waterstones and bought it. But she's a brand that I'd not come across before. Had you heard of her?
No.
Right. What's
Anyway,
read about that?
let's talk about yesterday.
There's loads of people I haven't heard of.
No, let's talk about yesterday and what we actually did yesterday. That's why we're here.
Yep.
So, yesterday, you had been giving me quite a bit of grief about having some afternoon naps,
Yeah.
and you had one.
Yeah, because my leg hurt.
Had a little bit of a siesta.
It had kept me awake all night, and I had a nap.
Yeah.
I lay down in the bit of the bed. I lay down on the bit of the bed that was still getting some sunlight, and had a snooze in the sun. Because yesterday was sunny, but it was still quite cold. So the doors weren't open as much. I think I can't leave
Are
the
you
doors
trying
open.
to come up with excuses for why you had a nap?
No, I'm just telling you. I found in that because
Are you going to continue to give me shit for having a nap?
possibly depends whether or not I have one today.
So if you have one, I don't get any shit. But if I have one, I get all the shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I did one daring thing yesterday for us.
Wanked in the front garden.
No, I went to the shop. I braved the outside world and went to the corner store,
You did.
the convenience store. And
What was on the list?
you had written a list of necessities,
Yeah.
which included, there were 5 things on the list.
Yeah, there were.
There was milk, there was washing powder,
Yeah.
and then there was chocolate,
Yeah.
and then chocolate eggs.
And eggs.
Yeah.
The
Eggs.
The list was eggs, chocolate eggs, laundry detergent, and milk.
Yeah. Big emphasis on the chocolate.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went to the store, posted a couple of letters for you on the
You
way.
did. Posted all my seeds. I must let the girls know that their seeds are on their way.
And then when I got to the store, it had been ravaged. There were a lot of empty shelves, but it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. Please keep the dog off the microphone. That is so disgusting. Letting the dog lick the microphone.
She wasn't
is
licking the
not
microphone. She
okay.
was licking my nose.
She licked you in the mouth.
No,
It's
she didn't.
disgusting.
She didn't lick me in the mouth. She licked my nose. That's a doggy thing.
Just push her away. She's such a pain. My God, she winds me up.
Is she touching you?
No, but
Is she touching you?
I'm watching you not pay attention because you're pushing a
No,
dog
we're
constantly
having,
out of your face.
The reason we're not continuing the conversation is because you've got your knickers in a twist again about what the dog is doing, which isn't involving anything to do with you.
I can hear her on the mic. Just push her away. Driving me crazy, man. Anyway, remember, we are in lockdown. The fuse is shortening all the time. This is day 8. And the murders are supposed to happen on day 9. Anyway, the dog has completely distracted me.
See, it's your problem.
I
The
don't
problem is
want
not
her in
the dog.
here.
The problem is you.
Oh, she's such a pain. Anyway,
Just get on with your story.
I went to the convenience store.
You did.
And it had been ravaged, so there were quite a few empty shelves. But I was quite surprised that I was actually able to get a couple of things.
You were.
And then there were some rules when I went into the store. So there was you had to keep a certain distance away from other customers. There
2
were
metres.
there were only so many customers allowed in the store at any one time.
Was anyone waiting outside?
No, there was no one waiting outside.
Okay.
But there was quite a lot of signage up telling you what the rules were. And then you had they had tape on the floor in front of the counter. You weren't allowed to approach the counter until the first customer had left and
Yep.
you were ready to purchase your items. And yeah, obviously the people behind the counter were constantly using hand sanitizer and
Yeah.
it was
They're behind a plastic screen, aren't they? There's a big there's usually a big plastic screen. Up, isn't there?
sort of. Yeah, I mean there still had to be an area where you could pass your
Money through, yeah.
pass your purchases through. And
Were they taking cash or were they saying contactless only?
That I didn't pick up on. I used my card.
Okay.
But
Yeah, lots of places are saying no cash.
yeah. But yeah, I was able to get a few things, and some of the things were surprising. I, for example, was able to buy dog food.
Yeah.
I bought dog food for you and the dogs that I hate out of the goodness of my heart. Brought them home thinking I'd done this amazing thing because you'd been complaining about how there was going to be a shortage of dog food. And I brought it in and I was like, look what I got dog food. And you just didn't give any shits. My God, you didn't care. And I was just like, why did I bother? Why did I spend my money on this? It wasn't even cheap. Like, I got this dog
it's
food.
expensive.
Got this dog food. You did not care. Broke my little heart.
Well, I'm
Broke my
sorry,
little
but
heart.
the reason I'm concerned about dog food is I'm concerned about in 2 weeks' time, when or 3 weeks' time even, when that I can't get a delivery for then. So I have plenty of dog food to lead up to then.
Yeah,
It's the future supplies of. So yeah,
I bought a week's worth of dog food for 3 dogs. It's
You
not
did.
a small amount of dog food. It was quite heavy.
Yeah.
And I lumped that home
Yeah.
on foot with
Yeah.
everything else that I got
yeah.
to show you.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, look, I got dog food. Yay. And you just, nah. Just like, I do not care. Stonewalled me completely.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Like,
sorry.
oh,
that
you
that
think
was
you're
the case,
you
but-
think you're a big deal, mister? Coming in here
Yeah.
with your dog food? I don't give a shit. You may as well have flipped me off and hit me with something. Like, get away! You're blocking the television. Anyway, but I managed to get a couple of other things. I got the last bottle of Coke that they had there.
Yeah.
Yeah, big bottle. I mean, what else did I get? I managed to get a box of
The laundry
Frosties.
powder. The
Yeah.
things on the list that you got were chocolate eggs. You didn't get chocolate. You didn't get eggs, but you got the chocolate eggs.
Yeah.
You couldn't get any milk. Unfortunately, you're out of milk, but you got chocolate milk for you, and you could get laundry detergent. So
Yeah.
You got about 50% of the stuff. Yeah, 50% of the stuff.
Yeah. So I thought, but then I got some other
And
items
then you got
as
some
well.
extra bits. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought I did pretty well.
Yeah, you did. You did. Well
Oh
done.
yeah, finally some praise. Thank you.
Well,
Risking myself out there in the
Well,
community.
I know, but you risked yourself out in the community and didn't get the 50% of the things that were essential.
Oh my
I'm really,
God,
I'm
here
really,
we
I'm
go.
really, no, I'm really glad you got the laundry detergent because that means that we can wash freely, and the weather's nice and we can hang out to dry and blah blah blah. We really need to change. Change the bed sheets, but yeah, the other stuff. I was like, yeah, thanks. Yeah. I'm not overwhelmed by.
Such an asshole. I while I was out, I posted some letters
Yes,
for you.
yes, that was really good.
Oh,
Really appreciate
that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't give a shit about this dog food, but yeah. Thanks for posting those letters.
Yeah.
Blah. Anyway, I one of the things I did notice when I was out on my little excursion to the shop,
Yeah.
and we talked about it a little bit previously that the air pollution around London is lifting,
Yes.
and the air quality is improving quite substantially.
Yep.
But we had no anecdotal evidence of this. We just maybe seen a few pictures where the haze was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you categorically, my walk to the shop yesterday, I could not believe the freshness of the air. Like, it was a noticeable difference. Genuinely.
Good. Good.
But I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked because what does that mean we're breathing in the rest of the time? Because you don't think about these sorts of things. You just kind of off and go and...
Well, no, I mean, I think about it. I think, oh, God, all these people sitting in their cars on their own, driving around. They could get the bus, they could lift share. Do they really need to drive? But there's no cars moving around at the minute, so...
Yeah, but I was dumbstruck. I thought it was just so great. I actually slowed my gait. I walked slower to enjoy the air more.
Oh.
Because I'm an asthmatic, right? A lot of stuff sets me
Yeah.
off. And the freshness of it was so stark. It was so different from usual. I was really like, this is amazing. If there's something that can come out of this terrible crisis, I hope that other people will notice things like that and be like, we should do something about the environment and the pollution and climate change and all these other things because it can be like this.
Yeah.
We can enjoy this sunny day and this fresh air and be healthy. We don't have to live in this polluted wallowing hellhole. Not
Yeah.
specifically London. You know.
London, polluted, wallowing hellhole.
Well, yeah.
Open for business.
But, you know, it was very, very nice. I have been talking to a few people back in New Zealand because they do have different rules from us.
Do they?
They do. They're in a really harsh lockdown, whereas the lockdowns in Australia and here in America are all quite wishy-washy. The lockdown in New Zealand is being enforced, and people are being told to stay home. The cops are pulling people over and telling them to go home. They are saying that a lot of people's excuses are just terrible, you know, absolute bullshit excuses that you can imagine. And then they're just telling everyone, you know, go home, stay home. New Zealand's number of cases is continuing to rise, which is what they predicted would be the case.
Yeah, they're up to 338 now, which is an increase of 76 over the previous day.
Yeah, but they think they know where all of the cases are coming from. In New Zealand, they're calling them clusters. So they're saying, you know, we know where all of these people were infected from. They went to the exact same conference, or, you know, they all stayed at the same hotel.
There are some health authorities that have no cases and others that have, you know, teens and 20s numbers.
Yeah, that's right.
So
So they think they've been able to track most of them, and they hope that if, you know, everyone can stay inside and actually follow the rules for 4 weeks, they should be able to nut it out. So if they haven't caught anyone in that time, but those people still haven't had any exposure to anybody else and didn't pass the virus on while they were contagious, then the virus should
die out.
die out. So that's the big hope in New Zealand. If people continue to follow the lockdown rules and continue to stay in their homes and continue to not have interaction with each other.
So what are New Zealanders allowed out for?
They are allowed out for a piece of exercise every day, so a walk
So that's the
or a
same
bike
as us.
ride.
Yeah.
But, and this is the big difference, and this is the thing the police were catching a lot of people out for yesterday, is you have to do it from your house.
Yeah.
So you have to leave from your house and return to your house, meaning you do that on foot.
Yeah,
or
you're
on
not
your
allowed
bicycle.
to get in your car and drive to the nearest park to let your dogs off.
Well, that's the thing. People weren't driving to the nearest park. They were driving 30, 50 kilometres away to walk their dog. Like, it was absolutely ludicrous. So, yeah. So the whole idea is that you leave your house on foot and return to your house on foot. Yeah, some people, though, saying anecdotally that a lot of people were out walking, like, to a ludicrous degree. And therefore interacting with each other, which of course, you know, completely negates the lockdown.
Yeah.
So it may be that in the future they need to look at that in order to, you know, if it's too over the top, then they'll have to do something about it. I love hearing your dog nutting off in the background.
Your dog.
It's not my dog. He thinks he's my dog. He's not my dog.
So therefore he'll respond to you. If he's bothering you that much, go and sort him out.
I'm not going to... Oh, you know what he's barking at?
What?
You filled the bird feeder in the back garden.
Yeah.
So the back garden's now full of pigeons.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like them.
Yeah.
So he lets them know.
You wait till I get the squirrel feeder.
Oh, I'd love that.
What, the squirrel feeder?
Oh, I love squirrels.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm an
I don't-
Antipodean. We are gaga for squirrels. We
Yeah.
go insane for squirrels.
Yeah, no, so you can get squirrel feeders. My friend Eleni and Damien have got a squirrel feeder in their back garden that they bought when they took me to a garden centre for a nice afternoon out. And it really, really works. The squirrels have to come along, and it's... I was like, oh, how do the squirrels get the nuts out? Because it's sealed. But the squirrels have to lift the lid and reach in and grab the nuts and then sit and eat them. And it's quite cute. They've sent me photos of it in use. If I get their permission, I will tweet some of those pictures so people can see it. But yeah, I wasn't convinced it would work, but it's definitely worked. And I was thinking I should get one, but I don't want to put it in the back garden because the dogs will nut off and they might run out there and chase after them. But I was thinking I would do it on the front because very often, pretty much every day around the same time, a squirrel comes across the front garden, and he has tried to bury things in that big blue plant pot in the front of the house. Yeah, I think putting it on the front somewhere would be good.
See, I've never seen any squirrels in and around your house ever. I've never seen any.
Oh.
I've seen tons of foxes, though. There's heaps and heaps of foxes in your neighbourhood.
Foxes haven't been around so much recently. I heard them howling last night, shrieking last night. But I've seen loads of. Well, it's probably just the one squirrel. I've seen one runs along the top of the fence and occasionally has a nibble at the bird feeder. But pushes the pigeons out of the way, which is quite sweet. I've never, other than pigeons and squirrels, I haven't seen anything at that bird feeder, and we do get quite a lot of different birds in the garden. But yes, so I think 3 or 4 times I've seen the squirrel in the back garden, but I've seen him more often in the front garden, just running across the paving slabs in the front.
I'm going to allow this story because it involves a squirrel
Yeah.
and his every movement. Because, like I mentioned previously, I'm an Antipodean, and we just go gaga for squirrels.
Okay.
You can take a New Zealander or an Australian and take them to any park, anywhere in any country that has squirrels. You know, we can go out, we can go to some amazing cities like New York or Paris, and there'll be a picture of the Empire State Building, and there'll be a picture of the Eiffel Tower, and then about 50 pictures of squirrels, because that's what we're like. We
Why
just
do
think
you like the
because we
squirrels
don't
so much?
have them.
Oh, okay.
We don't have them, and they're just the cutest little things. They're so cool.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So when I went to Washington, there were black squirrels, which I'd never seen before, on the running around in the park in front of the White House.
What I want to see is a red squirrel. Those are your native squirrels.
Yeah.
What we're seeing here in the UK currently are these
grey ones.
dastardly grey squirrels, which are imported from the States. They are American squirrels. And they basically displace the red squirrels, which are your native ones. So I really want to see a native red squirrel. But I have soured on the grey squirrels just a little bit since finding out that they're the imported evil squirrel.
There's nothing evil about them.
Well,
they can't help it, can they? I mean, let's face it, they were imported 150 years ago. It's not like they're sitting there tracing their family back to which side of the Civil War, the American War of Independence or Civil War was on. You know, they're just fluffy grey things. They can't help where they were born, can they?
I can still be sour about it. I want to see a red squirrel. They've got little fuzzy ears. And they're smaller. Therefore cuter. I want to see one. I've heard the Isle of Wight is the place to go. The Isle of Wight does not have any grey squirrels. They only have red squirrels. Also, the Isle of Wight has its own little tube. It has its own little railway on a little island.
Yeah, it was a decommissioned tube train that they've turned into a train on the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, we've got to go there sometime. After this whole thing blows over in 2 years' time, we'll go to the Isle of Wight, haggard, overweight, covered in grey hair.
I've been before.
I've seen it. There's a little red squirrel. Could be an exciting time.
There is an island off the south coast, and its name escapes me. But it was owned. I think it was owned. It was something. There's some connection with Baden Powell, who was the guy that started the Scouts, and that is a small island that has no grey squirrels. It's only got red squirrels. Not the Isle of Wight, much smaller. Where you're probably more likely to see them. The Isle of Wight is quite a big island. You know, you're not guaranteed to see a red squirrel if you go to the Isle of Wight, but you pretty much are if you go to this Brownsea Island. I think it's called Brownsea Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Been there, done that.
Oh, you've been there, done that.
Yeah.
I will go alone. So...
I'll go with you.
No, you blew your chance. Right, talking about the lockdown in New Zealand, there are people celebrating their birthdays. My friend Callum, happy birthday, Callum. He spent his birthday in lockdown painting a fence. Because that was his option.
Painting a fence. Is he allowed to do that if there's somebody on the other side of the fence?
Oh, well,
Do the fences negate the 2 metre thing?
Well, when I say fence, it's a little bit different to New Zealand. To the UK.
Okay.
So here you guys are all cramped in. You're living on top of each other. It's not necessarily the case in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere. Yeah, his front fence faces onto a rural road that nobody goes up and down on.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Well done, Callum.
yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Callum. But, an interesting way to spend your birthday in lockdown, separated from everybody else, unable to get certain supplies. And this is the same issue that my sister is now facing. Her middle daughter is about to turn 10. Yeah. So, quite an important birthday in the scheme of things.
Double figures, yeah.
She won't be able to have a party.
Oh.
Won't be able to have quite a lot of things. There's so many supplies that you can't get your hands on, such as flour. So I don't know what the situation is, but it sounds like there might not be a cake.
Chocolate and Rice Krispies. Make crispy cakes.
Well, again...
Mars bars, butter and Rice Krispies.
it's whether or not they got these things before they entered lockdown, and I doubt very much that they did.
True.
So the real thing that my sister is quite upset about, she won't be able to get her a present.
Oh.
She didn't get her a present before the lockdown began. The lockdown's going to continue while my niece turns 10, and she won't be able to have a present. So she's trying to think of ways, anything she can, to try and make the day special for my niece, who's not gonna have any of these things. And I mean, it's probably worth pointing out that that's the reality for a lot of kids out there. I mean, I feel sorry for my niece, but there's a lot of kids out there, and I'm not just talking about the virus. I'm talking about every other day celebrating birthdays with nothing. My grandmother, who recently passed away, talking about her having her birthdays growing up. The only thing that was special on her birthdays, again, no cake, no presents, no nothing like that. She knew it was her birthday and that she should feel special because other people in her family wished her happy birthday.
Oh.
So that, that's what made her feel special, and that was
That was it.
what it used to be like.
So are we going to wish your niece happy birthday?
Well, it's not her birthday yet.
Oh, okay.
But, the day that day that it is, we will. We'll record her a little special message. I don't think we need to do it on this podcast where
no, that's true.
scream bloody murder.
Swear at each other and threaten to kill each other. I was just thinking the other really sad thing is if everybody's washing their hands to the tune of Happy Birthday, that's going to kind of even take the Happy Birthday song away from people, isn't it?
What, a soapy, sloppy, palmy rendition of Happy Birthday?
No, I'm saying everybody's singing it to themselves every day while they wash their hands, several times a day.
What are you talking about?
Didn't you hear this?
No.
The way to make sure that you wash your hands for 20 seconds is to sing Happy Birthday while you're washing your hands, because it lasts about 20 seconds. So that people across the country have been singing Happy Birthday to themselves while they wash their hands. That was one of the bits of advice from very early on.
I've not heard this.
I can't believe you've missed that.
Have
you been washing your hands?
I have been pedantically washing my hands. In fact, it's actually taking a real toll on my skin.
Yeah, me too. I'm getting eczema on the back of my hand.
Yeah, the skin's breaking up, especially on my left hand. It's getting quite crusty and horrible. So
that's the wanking.
Oh, God. We should definitely get my 10-year-old niece to listen to this show.
Mummy, what's wanking?
What's wanking? Oh, you wished me happy birthday. That's so nice. Yeah, good one. But yeah, I don't know if other people out there are having similar issues with trying to keep their hands clean.
Yeah, lots of people are.
Who are you talking to? Who are you having contact with in the outside world who's telling you all about the crustiness of their hands?
All the people I swap wanking stories with. No, just general Facebooky posts about all this hand washing is bad for my hands. I can't go to the shop to get moisturiser. What can I reuse from the kitchen as a skin softening device? We've got a large jar of coconut oil downstairs if you want to rub some of that in.
No, I think what I'm going to try to do is
wank less.
is try to
not get it on the back of your hand when you come.
Oh, God. Damn it. I'm so desperate to move the conversation away from wanking and in any other direction. But this is what happens, I guess. This is day 8. This is where the conversation has devolved to, and now we share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Aren't they lucky? Now, I am going to try to wash my hands less in the house, because I don't necessarily believe now that the virus is in the house.
No, we're pretty sure that the house is clean.
The house
it's only
is
stuff
clean.
that's coming in.
That's right. So when something comes into the house or I have to go out of the house, any of these sorts of scenarios, of course, hands are going to be washed down. And I'm going to use hand sanitizer and any other scenarios I can think of to try and prevent the virus from passing on. There was actually quite a good article talking about how the virus spreads. They still believe that it's spread in droplets and that it's not airborne. It has the potential to be airborne in some capacity. If there's tiny
people sneeze.
Yeah, tiny airborne
the droplets come out of their nose and they go through the air to land on a surface. So yes, they're airborne for a time.
But they think for the most part it's on surfaces, and it's and you basically catch it that way. And the harder the surface, so metals, that sort of thing, the longer the virus is going to last on those surfaces.
Apart from copper. Copper's a natural anti-whatever it is. So.
Okay, well, not everything's made of copper.
No, I know. Can't think of anything in the house that's made of copper. But
your pipes.
Yeah, true.
Anyway.
I don't often lick the pipes, though.
Not often. They're talking at length about how you can contract the virus and what they're learning about the contraction of that virus. So, for example, if you live in an apartment building, which a huge number of people do, one of the places that you're most likely to contract the virus is not going outside, it's not necessarily interacting with someone on the street, it's being in the elevator. So if there is a place to contract it in an airborne environment, it's the elevator. So you need to be conscious of that, and if you have the option and the physical capacity, you should probably take the stairs.
Yep.
That's going to be a safer environment for you, rather than, being in the elevator or touching anything in the elevator, because those are going to be really, really bad places for it. There's also quite a lot of talk about how long the incubation process might last once you contract the virus. So they think humans could incubate the virus for anywhere between 7 days to 2 weeks before they actually show symptoms.
Okay.
So that is quite a long time, and you could be contagious for that entire period of time. Again, that's why New Zealand being locked down for 4 weeks is so important, because hopefully that will nip all of those cases in the bud. And anyone who does have it will show symptoms or have gotten over those symptoms by the time the 4 weeks is at an end. That's the hope anyway. In regards to our home, and we have fallen in a hole here because you're just staring out the window.
I'm listening.
Yeah, you're supposed to be talking. So
You want me to talk over you?
No, I just want you to talk to me.
What?
You just zoned out. You're just
you were talking about... I'm looking out the window.
You're there covered in dogs, staring out the window.
I'm waiting for you to get to your point, and then I will respond to it.
You had completely checked out.
No, I hadn't. I was listening.
The point that I was coming to is that I think that our home is a safe space.
Yes, it is.
Currently.
We need to maintain that, which is why there are wipes by the front door to wipe down anything that comes in.
Yeah.
And why, when you got home from work, you had to strip off, wash everything, wash your clothes, wash your hands before you came into the house proper, and then had a shower.
Yep, all those things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There are posters online that tell you exactly what to do, coming in and leaving the house, and things like it's quite interesting. So things like, if you're expecting somebody to come home, ideally you should have somebody watching out for them to come home, so that they don't have to ring the doorbell or knock on the door, that the door can be opened from the inside, so that that person can come in and do all their ablutions before they touch anything. Just, minimising the amount of touching of surfaces and stuff.
Yeah. Should we talk about what the numbers are actually starting to look like in various countries?
We can do.
One of the things that I noticed overnight, which is quite horrific, is the speed with which the virus is moving in the United States.
Yeah.
So essentially, I mean, the States could be going to hell in a handbasket at the moment. It's terrible what's happening over there, but essentially...
And then they've got COVID.
And essentially, the virus is spreading very, very quickly. And in terms of infections, the United States went from somewhere in the middle of the list yesterday to number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a very short space of time, went to the top of the list. So now they have this great number of infections. And people are saying, well, they haven't had that many deaths. They've had over 1,000 deaths. So it's still terrible. But... they're saying, well, in the grander scheme of things, we haven't had that many. But then all of these people have contracted the virus.
Yeah, another 2 weeks before they die.
That's right. People don't expire straight away. So, the United States is looking at it at an enormous humanitarian disaster. So, really, really, truly sad. But we've been tracking numbers around our area of the world.
We
in
have.
New Zealand. They haven't had any deaths yet,
No.
which is a tremendous hats off to the healthcare system in New Zealand that they haven't had any deaths yet. Where are we at with the UK?
Right, so starting with the top of my list of statistics, it's a good news story. First of all, in that the number of tests have gone over 100,000 for the first time, and actually the number of tests that were conducted in 24 hours has increased by a far greater number than ever before. So we are now at 104,866 tests have been done, which is an increase of 7,847 compared to the previous day, and we've not yet gone over 7,000. So to get to nearly 8,000 is quite a jump.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be.
I know it's nowhere near 25,000.
Well, that's an important point, because it's fine. Look, it's fine that you've got all these tests and all these tests are happening. That's great, but then you push people out the door, pat them on the bum, send them back out into the community, then they can contract the virus. So for whatever number of tests come back as negative, I just don't see that as as a massive point of interest. I haven't
talked about negative tests. I talked about how many tests have been done.
Yeah, but the vast majority of those, hopefully, are negative, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So I think, the amount of testing that's being done is good. I'm glad that it's going up, but I want it to get to 25,000 tests a day, as they promised it would, because I don't believe that they're keeping a handle on the virus at the moment. I think that's the real big talking point. They don't have control of it. So I want to know how many more positive tests there were yesterday.
There were 2,129 positive tests in the 24 hours up to yesterday.
How did that compare?
That brings us to the total of 11,658. So the number of positive tests has gone up by a third. Yeah. So the previous day there were 1,452 new positive tests, and now there's over 2,000.
See, I think that's the really important figure, that there's just so many more positive tests coming in now.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is that most of those people, you had to be put into hospital to even have a test done.
Yeah.
Like, who even knows how many people in the UK currently have this virus?
Yeah, we don't know, do we?
We really don't know.
Never will know. And there have unfortunately been an additional 115 deaths. So again, that's probably the highest number. Yeah, I think that's the highest number we've ever had in one day in terms of numbers of deaths.
Well, they say we're about 2 weeks behind Italy. So how's Italy getting on?
I don't know. You didn't ask me before the show started, so I haven't looked it up.
Okay.
Do you want me to look it up now?
Yes.
Well, that means you're going to have to talk and not whinge at me for not talking or staring at my phone while I look.
Okay. Well, there was something really nice that was done for everyone who was working in the NHS last night, and that's at 8 o'clock last night. Everyone in the UK came out onto their front porches and out onto their balconies if they lived in apartments and applauded. Everyone applauded the NHS all around the country at 8 o'clock last night. And we missed it.
Yeah,
in fact,
we were busy.
I really didn't hear anything in the neighbourhood. I'm not sure.
Well, you came in and said there were bangs and flashes.
Yeah, but not in the neighbourhood. There was quite some distance away. And I believe some people were letting off fireworks, but I really think that our neighbourhood pretty much missed the memo on this, which was disappointing because there's a whole lot of really cool videos that are showing up online of entire neighbourhoods, everybody out on the, out in their balconies and clapping away. And I think that would have been a really cool thing to be a part of. And our neighbourhood Didn't do it. Quite good.
Or
little golf clap. Quite good.
Didn't do
good.
it loud enough to drown out the telly. Although saying that, my sister-in-law, as I've mentioned before, is a paramedic, and a girl that used to babysit for me trained as a paramedic and is now deployed in Wales. And both of them have been on Facebook saying that they saw and heard people clapping as they were out in their trucks, ambulances last night. So And they were very grateful for it. So for all of you people that did go out and make a noise and clap and stuff, well done. Thank you very much. It did mean a lot to them.
How are you getting on with Italy?
They've had 80,589 cases.
Confirmed cases?
Confirmed cases. And they've had 8,215 deaths.
Holy crap.
As of today. So yeah, their death rate is 10%.
Holy crap.
That's quite scary, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because, I mean, what they're saying is the UK is 2 weeks behind Italy.
Yeah.
You know, all our numbers match up with what Italy was going through 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We thought that was horrific then. 100 people to die in a single day is horrific. The fact that Italy's had over 8,000 deaths now.
Yeah. Well, they've had to make some tough decisions because they ran out of ventilators. And I did read a Facebook post yesterday that I thought was premature. It was saying basically that we're at that point that Italy were at a week ago of there not being sufficient ventilators, and they are making decisions based on people's ages as to whether or not when they need a ventilator they get a ventilator. So the Facebook post, and as I say, I don't believe that it's true, but they were saying that anyone over the age of 70 was not going to get a ventilator, and if you were over 60 and had a long-term condition, you weren't going to get a ventilator.
But you don't think that's true?
No, I'm sure if it was true, it would be, it would, if we don't get that surge of cases to drop, which is why we're doing this social distancing thing and lockdown, if we don't get it to drop, we will be in that case, because that's what Italy had to do. They said anyone over the age of 80 wasn't going to get a ventilator.
One of the things that's really annoying me in the UK right now is that there are companies waiting to build more ventilators, but they're still arguing over the contract procurement because they put it out to tender. So people are arguing over who's going to get the contract to build the ventilators. Just build the fucking ventilators.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Like, just build them.
Yeah.
That kind of thing really, really gets on my wick.
Well, they've got to be built to certain specifications.
Well, of course they have to be built to specifications, but they're talking about, competing groups of companies that are competing for the contract to build the ventilators. Just build the fucking ventilators. Why are we pissing about with this contract nonsense? Yes, they have to be of a standard. Go and build the ventilators. Yeah. Don't compete for a tender and waste all this time and waste all these days over contract negotiations. You assholes. You absolute assholes. Makes me so cross. Really does. So, there was another big piece of news yesterday in the UK, which had to do with my pay.
Yes.
So I've been quite concerned about where money is going to come from because I have lost a considerable amount of work. I am a freelancer. The government's original announcement around pay did not include me and people like me. There were millions of us in the UK. But last night it did. There was a new announcement saying that essentially the government would match what they offered full-time workers, which was 80% of their monthly pay up to a cap of $2,500. And, that would be enough for me to survive on and pay my rent and pay my bills.
Yep.
But I'm not saying I'm going to get $2,500 because the way that it works, and it is quite difficult to work it out, it's based off your last 3 years' returns. I've been in the UK for 3 years, so I should be covered. I'd be very annoyed if they turned around and said I wasn't. And it averages out. You have to earn under £50,000 a year.
Yeah.
No problem. So they average it out. Then it's based on the profit that you made that month. So there's other things that you write off in running your business.
Yeah.
So it's just the profit. And then they average they average out what the profit is per month, and I don't know. There's some sort of fix. It looks quite complicated. I definitely need to read up on it further.
Yeah.
I tried to read up on it quite a bit yesterday so that I could talk about it in depth today. And I kind of deliberately haven't because I just don't know enough about it. There seem to be a lot of caveats that I just can't seem to get my head around. So I need to look into it.
Yeah, and you need to apply, don't you? When does the...
Well, they're saying that that's not going to be till June.
No, they're saying they'll make the payment in June. You must have to apply for it before then.
No, they're holding up the application process because they're saying that you have to have put in your tax return for 2019 to be eligible. And they're saying that a large number of people have not done that yet. So they're giving them a month's grace to get their tax returns in.
So all those bastards that are late,
well, you can read it.
Have missed the deadline,
Well,
which was the end of January.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
mean,
need to go away and read up on this more.
I mean, you got yours in on time.
Yes, I did. But
yeah. So why can't they do a two-stage system? Why can't they start working through the people that have submitted? Because once you've submitted, you can't edit it, can you?
Well, this is the thing. There's so much to this. It's so complicated. I don't have all the answers. I need to go away and read up about it. I hoped you'd also read up about it so that we could discuss it a little bit. But it's complex. But yeah, you have to have filed a 2019 tax return. They're going to give a month's grace so that people can file their 2019 tax return so that you are then eligible to apply. They're saying once that application goes through, that payments would not begin until June, but they would be backdated until March.
Okay.
And I think I read this correctly, that you can also continue to work during this period while you're receiving these payments. But again, caveats, I need to look into that in more detail because they might be saying, yeah, you can work if you want to, but we're not going to pay you. So I need to look into that. There's so much. It just seems like a trap.
Yeah,
it really does.
I mean, what's particularly difficult for you in the industry that you're in is that you're a key worker, and you're what do we call it? Self-employed.
Yes, I am a self-employed essential worker.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. I don't think my employers are going to let me off. No. I think they're going to say you have to keep coming in. I don't know what the situation is in regards to me saying, well, I'm high risk, I don't want to come in, and then be able to apply for this sum of money. I don't know what the detail is. There's just so many questions that I still need to answer in terms of going through the paperwork to figure all of this out. But yeah, if it's backdated for 3 months in June, does that mean that it just covers March, April, and May? Are we supposed to be back to work in June, even though we get the payment in June?
Yeah, well, they were saying that
what the hell?
As an interim measures, they've stopped collecting tax from people, and that you can get loans. They've suggested that businesses get loans as an interim thing. Yeah,
that's a terrible idea.
That's
a terrible idea.
You've got to pay it back. Yeah.
It's just passing the buck, passing the trauma and the damage down the line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are anyway, generationally speaking. Our children are going to be paying for...
That we're not having.
Well, the next generation are going to be paying for what is happening here in this crisis.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways they already were since the financial crisis of 2008. You see an explosion of things like the gig economy and a lack of protections for workers.
Yeah.
An enormous explosion in house prices. That generation's already buggered.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to continue. That's really, really sad, and who knows how that's going to eventually play out. But in the short term, in regards to paying rent, these payments from the government are going to be quite important. But yeah, trying to figure out the ins and outs of it are quite tricky. Now, it's not straightforward for people who run their personal business as a business. So I'm a sole trader. So I'm covered under this system that the government released yesterday, or I should be. We need to go through the details. They're saying that 95% of the people who in my bracket are going to be covered by this. I don't know if that's an accurate figure. There is the cap of £50,000. So I guess they're saying that 95% of freelancers in the UK earn less than £50,000.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's accurate. Certainly in London, you would know a lot of people who are earning a lot more than £50,000 and operating as a sole trader or a contractor. So those people would not be covered. Perhaps they don't need to be. You'd like to think that if you're earning that much money, you're doing okay. But if you run as an actual business and you're a director of your own company and you pay yourself a salary, then you are a business. Like, it becomes convoluted.
Yeah.
Because those people are not covered under this system. But
wouldn't they be? But wouldn't they be covered under the employees get? The grant that goes to businesses to give to employees.
Yes, they are covered under that, but it's only the salary that they pay themselves. So if they are pulling out dividends as a director, then that's not covered.
Okay.
Of course it isn't. But if it's the salary that they pay themselves, then yes, they would be able to apply and cover themselves. Well, there's a lot of jiggery-pokery in the tax system. That's why a lot of, single workers run themselves as a business. And they might be up shit creek.
Yeah, well, I have a tiny amount of sympathy for them, because if they weren't trying to dodge paying tax on what they earn in the first place, then they'd be covered.
Yes, I imagine it's going to be quite a controversial little area. The option for those people, of course, is also to collect their £95 a week sick pay, or to apply for universal credit, and I think that's £300 a month or something. I don't know. It's still not enough to get by in this country anyway.
No, but if they'd paid tax properly for the last however long they've been running, then they'd be in a better position now, wouldn't they?
Well, it depends how they paid that tax. So yeah, it's all very complex. Still trying to get our heads around it. Maybe we can come back tomorrow and talk about it with a little bit more certainty. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we really need to talk to someone.
Jimmy Carr got loads of
it.
grief for not paying tax, didn't he? He had loads of offshore widgety things, and he's
Well, so many people do in this country.
Yeah. But,
I can't believe the grey areas that exist in Britain. It just upsets me, how much hidden money there is in the UK. It's all in the Channel Islands, it's all in the British Virgin Islands, it's all hidden away.
None of mine is.
Oh. What'd you say none of yours is?
Yeah, no, I pay tax on everything, all my income.
No, I'm not specifically meaning you. You and sitting there in your trash room covered in dogs. Oh, my money is stashed away in the British Virgin Islands. Yeah, all your money.
My money's tied up in this house.
Yeah, in this little terraced flat in London.
It's not terraced, it's end of terrace.
Oh, you like that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of class warfare there. I've got the end of terrace house.
Yeah.
I'm Jimmy Big Bollocks. I've got the...
I was only interested in an end. The end is where it's at.
Look at you. You're like an absolute baller, splashing them. Where's your little top hat? Why aren't you wearing a top hat? You live in the end of the terraced houses.
Yeah, because you get 2 extra windows. One upstairs, one downstairs, and I got a path down the side.
Yeah. Oh, well, stop showing off. I did want to say one thing today. Today is day 8. I want to pass on my very sincere congratulations.
Oh, I'm not killing you.
No, Death Day's tomorrow. Death Day's tomorrow. And there's a little bit of niggle in the air. Perhaps one of us will die overnight. But my very most sincere congratulations, because this is our 8th episode.
Yeah.
And, this is a fun fact, 80% of podcasts don't last past their 7th episode.
Yeah, 80% of podcasts aren't done during the apocalypse.
Well, that may not be true for long. I think there's plenty of people like us out there making crappy podcasts.
Yeah.
But I want to pass on, once again, my sincere congratulations.
Yeah.
Well done, you.
Yeah.
We have made it to episode 8.
It's not well done me, it's well done us.
Yeah, but we've made it to episode 8.
We have.
We have done better than 80% of the rest of the podcasting world.
Yay.
So, well done.
Yay.
Well done. All right. You want to go
Round of
celebrate?
applause. Don't wake the dogs up.
I won't wake the dogs up. What I'm saying, let's go smash up the booze cupboard.
All right, I'll see if I can find room in amongst the 18 varieties of milk and chocolate milk in the fridge and put a little bottle of champagne in there.
Which I also can't drink. Right.
Not for me.
I'll smash the chocolate milk. Here we go. Till later.
Bye, everybody.
Till that is the worst goodbye ever.
Speak to you tomorrow.
Tomorrow is murder day. Stop talking over the music.